So Klaviyo is a Boston-based technology company with 280 employees and 21,000 customers globally, built from the ground up for e-commerce brands, specifically brands that want to grow. And our focus when we think about Shopify and other e-commerce platforms is helping merchants own their growth. And what we mean by that is taking advantage of their personal relationships with customers, helping them achieve that communication at scale, and doing it in ways that's repeatable and scalable for future success. For a lot of merchants that are struggling across different platforms and trying to figure out how do they understand what's happening on the various ways they communicate with customers. So having a unique customer view within Klaviyo gives you the opportunity to track transactional data, all historical information coming in through your e-commerce store, on-site engagement, and where people are on your website and what the engagement looks like over time, in addition to email engagement, which pulls everything all into one customer profile. We like to use this data in another creative way to start to introduce segmentation, automations, and a lot of other various ways that you can communicate with customers based on what's happening at that unique profile level. So Klaviyo pulls in transactional history, so what people are purchasing, what products are they looking at, and everything else that's happening on your Shopify store, layered in with other behavioral insights into what type of website engagement is occurring over time, in addition to other third-party tools that we want to integrate with when it comes to loyalty and rewards programs, in addition to how customers are interacting with your brand across various channels, whether it's social media or other advertising platforms where there are personal connections being made outside of email. The framework behind Klaviyo relies on three main pillars. First is listening and understanding where customers are in their journey with you, what their engagement looks like, analyzing and understanding what's happening once that data is in the platform, and then communicating. So we do this in a variety of ways, but specific to automations, understanding when we think about an abandoned cart reminder, at this point it's table stakes for most e-commerce brands, but how we can layer in other behavioral data points such as shopping preferences, whether they are a churn risk or a VIP, and how all that can create a much more personal experience for each customer once they enter a specific automation. I would say a welcome series is probably the most important but also most relevant one to each customer experience. A lot of times this is your first touch point with a new relationship. Same way you'd meet a new friend, you want to make sure you understand their interests and what makes the connection worthwhile for both of you. So I think the welcome series is not only one of the more popular ones, but also a really interesting opportunity to start asking questions and start adding to that profile over time so that you can start to go back and next time they come to your site, you can deliver up a really personalized experience that they can really enjoy. When we think of the idea of owned marketing, a lot of this drives back to the fact that there's so much information out there and a lot of it sits in a black box of sorts. So when we think about integrations with tools and platforms like Facebook and Instagram, using all the data we have on file, everything we're looking at is how do we make it a bit more sophisticated approach when we start to serve up advertisements across Facebook. So thinking how we might build out a segment around our VIPs and similarly our churn risks or different product catalogs that we might want to highlight. Through our segmentation builder, it's very easy to serve up more personalized content on those channels, but also be a lot more sophisticated in who you're targeting without just throwing it out to everybody. At Klaviyo, we don't believe in long-term contracts. Everything we do with each customer is based on active subscribers. These are the number of profiles that we bill each customer for. Everything is month to month. So we don't lock customers into long-term contracts. As your account grows or things slow down, you have flexibility. All of our pricing sits in the individual account. So you can go in there and make changes as needed with a simple swipe of a credit card. And as you want to make changes to your plan, you have a lot of flexibility and transparency, which we think is pretty valuable in the marketplace. I think it starts with culture. It's the idea that we should help our customers grow and we should help them go above and beyond to really connect with customers at scale. So I think that starts with the people and everybody in Klaviyo today. When we think about our 280 employees, everybody really buys into this. And given the fact that we were built from the ground up for e-commerce brands, I think that gives us a lot of flexibility, but an opportunity to really know who our customer is and build a platform that really supports their growth the right way. My favorite Shopify case study on Klaviyo has to be Austin, Texas-based Beard Brand. I think they've done a fantastic job of living the idea of owned marketing, but doing so in a really unique way and leveraging Klaviyo. When I think about the content that they've created, it is focused on educating their customers. So everybody's beard is unique, everybody's hairstyle is so unique. There's so many different ways and data points that you can gather around each customer in this space, but serving up content that really teaches their customers on how to use their product, how their grooming practices could be affected if they were if they knew how to use their products the right way, and how that just helps build a relationship with each customer that they know is going to last. Being a subscription business, there's obviously a lot of flexibility there as far as how to communicate and the ongoing nature of replenishment and understanding when somebody's beard products are going to run out. How am I going to target them and reach out to them at that time and do so in a very personal way? So for global brands, as they continue to grow, a lot of challenges come up when it comes to multi-currency, multi-language. So the way Klaviyo supports this is you'd have unique accounts for each site that you'd be managing on the Shopify end. However, when we look at our billing structure, everything goes back to the profile. So you're not paying for separate accounts as much as you're paying for separate subscriber lists. And each list is going to be unique, but you'd have the visibility into revenue, on-site performance, everything else that's very unique across different jurisdictions, especially when we get to a data compliance perspective. A lot of that comes into play. So keeping in mind that GDPR, every other data privacy law that is in effect now in the United States, how these need to be managed in their own unique right, but doing so in a way that each account has its own unique Klaviyo instance.